guys, this is AC Lockyer with Building a Lifestyle Business, and I've got Robert and Chantal here, and I need you guys to pronounce your name for me because I don't want to butcher it because people butcher my name all the time. Pronounce your last name for me.
Casias.
Casias. Okay, cool. Yeah. And you guys are with San Diego Softwash out there, and of course, San Diego. Keep it classy, yes, right? Keep it classy. A little Ron Burgundy there. Keep it classy, San Diego. Okay. And yeah, so tell us a little bit about you guys. You guys got great shirts on, nice and new and crispy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But give us that biographical. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do, all that kind of stuff. Tell us about the baby and yeah, let's go.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I'm Chantal. Before we started our business, I had started working while I was in high school. I did sales for a company that sold used RVs. They bought and sold used RVs. So I got my first.
That's what my dad did. Yeah.
So I got my first sales experience while I was still in high school, making hundreds of phone calls a day, trying to connect with people who either wanted to get rid of an RV they had or buy an RV. And that was kind of my start into sales and business and just kind of like the workforce. Once I graduated high school, I started dental assisting and I worked at a dental office for about 10 years. During my time at that office, I had a wonderful boss. I loved working there. I loved my patients. I loved my team, my boss. And during the time that I worked there, I went from working in the back office, dental assisting, so actually cleaning people's teeth and doing all of that, to helping with their marketing. So I would travel. We called it inter-office relations.
Okay.
So I would go to offices that were maybe referral partners of ours, and do luncheons with them, do meetings with them, talk about our specialty. Our specialty was orthodontics and pediatric dentistry. So basically talk about what we did, and build strong relationships with our surrounding colleagues and, other specialties. And did that for 10 years, ended up managing the office. Absolutely loved it. But always, I come from a family that's pretty entrepreneurial. My dad has always been very business minded. My two older brothers own a business together. And so always knew eventually I wanted to start my own business. I had dabbled in a couple little things. I started a t-shirt brand called Blondie and made little illustrations, put them on t-shirts and stickers and stuff like that. And did that for a little while. And then eventually, we'll talk more about this later, but we came to know about soft washing through some really close friends of ours, family friends. And we had known we wanted to start something. And it just so happened that all the right pieces aligned at the right time. And I feel like it was really a God thing that led us into starting the soft wash things and going from there. And we've been doing it now. We're in the middle of our third year and going strong and excited to keep growing the business. So
cool. And so I always call you Bob, and then somebody said I need to call you Robert. But what do you like to be called?
Everybody calls me Bob. So everybody that knows me calls me Bob. But it's funny. I answer the phone. It's like, hey, this is Robert Casias. And they're like, hey, do you see Bob? Like, but everybody calls me Bob. I'm like, yeah, all the friends, family call me Bob. So
I know. I'm called by Alfred, Al, AC. So it's I get it. Yeah.
People say you don't look like a Bob, but it's like, it's Bob. It's been Bob. You don't pick your names.
That's right. So what's your background?
So growing up, my dad owned a framing company. So my dad was an entrepreneur. He kind of went out and started doing his own thing, and he owned a framing company, pretty successful. So I grew up knowing that my dad owned his own business and had his own thing and ran crews, and he was in a niche kind of industry too, like pretty high-end custom homes. He pretty specialty framer. And so eye for detail, he calls it the sickness, and it's sick. Pretty much everything has to be perfect. He's OCD about, he likes everything perfect. So I grew up pretty much that was my dad. So everything
that would explain the nervous twitch that you have.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah. Well, it was good, and I took the good, and we moved on. So
that's right.
I graduated high school, and I worked for about a year.
I'm a son of a perfectionist too, so we can start a little group. My name is AC. My dad was a perfectionist.
My dad's a perfectionist.
Yes,
but it was good. I'm more of a D personality, so like I'm driven, goal oriented, so go getter. So having the perfectionist kind of detail oriented was, I think, good for me. I think he knew I needed to slow down, look for the details.
Right.
But as starting my own business, I've always had a mind to work and earn money. Actually, the first thing I used to build duct tape wallets, and actually, before that, I used to go sell candy bars to door to door to raise money for like camps and stuff at the church. So it's always been like, okay, like eventually my goal when I first graduated high school to be like, take over my dad's business, become a framer.
Yeah.
And go to that. So I worked for him for about a year. Didn't really work out on the crew and stuff like that. An opportunity opened up. And I went to, I became a journeyman carpenter in the union doing concrete. So building high rises. And it's hard work. It was heavy, dangerous, but good, paid the bills. And I remember, it's funny, just like last week, I talked to my old boss, and I feel like that really, the conversation we had before I left, he was like, I want to make you a foreman. And I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. I just journeyed out. I'm like, yeah, I'm young. I'm 23, and journeying out is a pretty big milestone when you're a carpenter. So he was like, I want to make you a foreman, but I was like, okay, when? How long? He's like, 3 years. Like if you work for 3 years, we can make you a foreman. You can be running work. I'm like, that's not going to do for me. 3 years is way too long. I got to do something else. So I'm like, I can probably give myself
3 years seems like forever, right?
Yeah. Well, when you're 23, I'm like, I'll be 26. I can probably give myself a raise. So that's when my mind started going like, okay, we need to find a business to start. We need to do something else.
Yeah,
I'm not going to die here pouring concrete. So that's when we actually, it's funny, we kind of talked to Lombardo. So the Lombardos talked to us before, you need to start soft washing. You can start soft washing. We're like, oh yeah, whatever. We have good jobs. We're good. And then a few years later, it's funny, around that time, we were at a church event and they were there. And Vince Lombardo pretty much sold us on soft washing. It was like, well, it was like, well, I make this much a week. Can I make at least this much a week? And he's like, no, dude, you can make way more than that. There's not even, okay, no, and like, he's like, okay, and like literally, how long after that? How did that go after? That was December of 2020.
Well, let's not get too deep into how you found soft wash systems because we'll get to that. Let's talk about the baby.
Yes. So we have a little guy, Beaudry Paul.
Say that again because it kind of broke up.
Okay, so we have a little guy. He just turned 1. Beaudry Paul. He is so much fun. He's awesome, and he's one of our greatest motivations. So he's amazing. He's got this thick old head of hair.
Oh, I've never seen a kid. He came out with the Johnny Bravo hairdo. I mean, out of the womb.
Totally did. I'm gonna pull up a picture.
You're pulling up the picture. Good.
He has my coloring and Chantal's personality.
Yeah,
that's great.
I don't know
oh my goodness, he's so perfect. I mean,
he really is.
I instantly fell in love the first time I saw him. I was just like, oh my goodness, yeah.
He's a cute guy.
He's a people person.
He is. He loves people. Awesome.
Now, so Bob, you said you're a D. So what are you on the DISC assessment?
D. Yeah. So I'm like
straight a D or a DI or a DC or what are you?
D and then DI. Like I said, there's like DI. Yeah. Social. I can talk to people, but mostly just D. So I got to work on everything else.
And Chantal, what are you?
I'm a mix of
a unicorn.
DISC. Yeah.
So are you? So are you a level or?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. That means you can do a lot of things. Yeah.
I'm blessed.
Trying to do it well.
Good. So that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And so how long you guys been married?
This is the 5th year.
Yeah,
5 years.
5 years. Now, Chantal, you said you talked about your job in high school, and you talked about getting into the dental world. You talked about you worked your way all the way up to managing, and that you had worked there for 10 years. And I'm doing math right now. And so how old were you when you left the dental office?
I was 26?
Yeah, 26, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 26.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So is one of you guys older than the other?
Yes, I'm 4 years older than him.
Well, you know what the Oak Ridge Boys say? Have you ever heard that song? No. Older women make beautiful lovers. Those older women. That's right. That's great. So very cool. You guys are you're a fun couple, and and you just have all kinds of energy and everything. And you're really involved in your church. And so talk about that a little bit, because at Softwash Systems, we're not on purpose a faith-based organization, but because of who we are and everything else, we really attract a lot of faith-based people. So let's talk about that, because we've had some great conversations on this podcast about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my father was a pastor. Chantal's dad pastors the church. I grew up going to church and going to that church. That's how we met. Mm-hmm. But that's always been pretty much the center of our lives. Like, we go to church 3-4 times a week, and really is the reason why we live. That's the
right
why we do what we do.
Right.
And I think for us, I feel like that's always been the center. And I guess raising Beaudry is going to be the center for his life. I don't feel like business, everything else is kind of surrounding that. But yeah,
we say, and a really great friend of ours kind of coined this, but it's God, family, church, work, in that order.
Right.
So that's our view and how we live, and we're thankful.
We're pretty active. Chantal sings. I used to be in the band,
what did you play in the band?
Guitar. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Electric guitar. So, but yeah, always been active, always been involved doing that. That's, definitely something we do multiple times a week.
I think that's a big influence too. And like you said, it's when who you are is that, and faith and God and everything is that much a part of you, it just kind of bleeds over into everything else. And what's really shaped, I know for me, my whole thought process on work and business and everything is anything your hand finds to do with all your might is unto the Lord. My parents taught me that growing up in high school. You got to do your best, work your hardest. If nobody sees it, God sees it,
right.
And going to work, and then being able to own a business, it's like you get to put those really deep rooted values and core beliefs into action. And it's like your mission statement at work. I think that's a cool thing about being able to own a business is the deepest parts of you get to try to live out publicly with a team and with your community and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, I guess as far as business, we're going to relate to it. Owning a business is a lot like your walk with God. It's not too complicated. It's simple, but it's consistent. So staying consistent on the simple things is really where it's at. And then the core values of, I guess, faith and what we believe as definitely, that's the way I believe life was meant to be, like the way God designed it. So we are blessed from it for sure.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And so I think that probably is a lot of the reason what led you guys to also want to be entrepreneurs. So I'll do the plug for you. You guys go to the Rock Church, right?
You know what?
That's the Lombardo.
Yeah, that's the Lombardo.
So, that's Lombardo's. But is it a similar movement you're part of?
Yeah, same. Yeah, same denomination. Her dad comes from the Rock Church.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so super evangelistic, super charismatic, really, really deep in, very interwoven to all parts of your life and all. So you've got to be a church. You don't have to, but you want to be a church a lot, and you live in community, and so sometimes having a job isn't real conducive to that. So we have like y'all may figure this out. We have a ton of Jehovah's Witness in Softwash systems, and they like to be entrepreneurs because it gives them freedom to be able to go on mission trips and do things with the church, and leave work early to get to church and serve people, or go to Bible studies, or be evangelistic without having to worry about losing your job. I got to imagine because you guys like sold out. I mean, you're like, when you're part of that movement, you breathe, eat, sleep church. So I got to imagine that has a certain amount of play into your decision to be entrepreneurs.
Yeah. I mean, like, for me, I'm goal driven. I'm always like, so it's definitely keeping a balance, like not letting the business overtake, like being my one focus in life. And like keeping God first is the main focus. I think it easily for some people can be switched. So it's keeping the balance of church and God. It's not necessarily I do business for church. It's like I do feel like I'm meant to. It's a gift. Like it is an opportunity that God's opened up for us. But I think keeping God first for sure it's necessary. But I guess it's open up opportunities for us. It's not. Yeah, I think it goes hand in hand. I think whatever we do, you just have to be pretty much go for it all the way. And I'm pretty hardcore on pretty much everything I do. So like keeping that balance at the same time.
Yeah, but it is true when you're running your own business, you're not at the mercy of someone else's schedule that they set up for you and things they require you to do or be at, where for us, our faith, our relationship with God and how that turns into our being involved in the church, that's like a non-negotiable.
Yeah. I remember.
And so there are lines of work where that won't jive with, because they want work to be first thing, they want work to take priority and everything. And so being able to run a business, you have the incentive to make the business work. So that way the rest of your life is able to be prioritized how you want to prioritize it.
Yeah. I remember taking off of work, like on Tuesday nights, we have service. Like, hey, I can't work past this time. I got to go to church. And usually because you're the best worker, you show up, you're not drunk, you don't do anything like that. You're just there to work. And that's all they really want is like, hey, they can respect your faith, So even as an employee, I remember like making stands like, hey, I don't work on Sundays. I can't work too late on Tuesdays, but any other time I'll work,
Right.
So it's always been, I guess it was almost as a natural step. It's like, okay, like it was not necessarily for the church because I was going to go to church regardless, but it felt like the doors did open. Like it was a God thing that we were able to start a business. So it's like, it was like, yeah, we were meant to do this. Church is going to be number one regardless of whatever we do. So it's good.
Very cool. So why cleaning? Because I know you guys said the Lombardos came and mentioned it to you and everything else, but I understand why you didn't go into framing. That's hard work. No matter how obsessed you are over how straight a 2x4 is, and all that kind of stuff. That's hard work. It's hot work outside and everything else. But why cleaning?
Can I start the answer?
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't like there's anything in cleaning that was particularly glamorous or that we're like, ooh, we've got to do that.
Right.
But I think it was once we had talked with Vince and the Lombardos and kind of dipped our toe in the water a little bit to see what they had going on.
Right.
And then we met people that they were associated with and saw how people were able to build a business, grow a family, keep priorities right, and do something that was successful, that was good for the community, that was sustainable. There's always going to need to be something that needs to be cleaned up and made better and made beautiful. So it's like there's job security. And then we met all these really awesome people who were and I'm talking about other softwash companies who we met at some of the camps and training courses with softwash systems. And it was getting to see, oh my goodness, there's like a really great, not just opportunity here, but there's a lot of really good people who are making things happen. And we want to learn from them. Like, we're hungry to grow. We're hungry for knowledge. We want to, whatever we do, we want to do it the best way we can. And we saw an opportunity and a path to do that with what we found in the community of software systems and the training that was available and all of that. So it was kind of like, for us, when all those doors opened at the same time, and kind of, it felt like we were led to soft washing and the concept of San Diego Softwash. It was kind of like, okay, you know what? God has opened these doors, and yeah, it's going to be kind of scary to make the jump and do it and go, full speed ahead. But if God led us to this, it's for a reason, and we're going to do it, and we're going to work hard, and we'll see what happens, So it's kind of, at least.
I remember coming back from talking to Vince and then trying to decide where to spend the money to buy the equipment.
Sure.
And driving around town, like, it was more of like, there's a bunch, like, we literally drove away from our house and like, hey, there's grain on that roof over there. And it's like, hey, we can clean like that. That would be actually.
You got the sickness, as your dad would say.
Yeah. I was like, hey, we can actually, this is a good product. And I feel like we can actually do this. I'm always like, I did construction, so I wasn't scared to work outside and be with, like, working on our hands. Like, okay, it seemed like a better product than what's out there. And that's really in the market. So there's room for it. It's unknown, but it looks like it does work. And I remember cleaning the first few houses and like, talking to Lombard. Yeah, I was like, hopefully this works. We're spraying this on here, like, you got to see it to believe it, but it takes time to see it, especially in San Diego, the lichens.
Right. Like you have a different funk there for sure.
Yeah, it's hardcore. So it takes months for that stuff to come off. And we're like, oh yeah, like, we're selling it. And we're like, oh, we're praying, it's like, hopefully this comes off. And it is. But I remember I was more like that. It wasn't necessarily like I have a passion for cleaning. It was just like, I'm not going to work with my hands. It seemed like a good product, and everything looks right. And, the doors opened up. We went for it.
You've heard AC Lockyer talk the talk, but wouldn't you like to see him walk the walk? Now is your chance, and it is absolutely free. Spend the day exploring softwash systems and disruptor manufacturing. You'll see the business and marketing systems developed by AC at work. But no open house is complete without food, so be sure to stick around for lunch. To register for this free event, please call 855-763-8669 to reserve your spot. We look forward to seeing you at our next open house.
Cool. And so you found Softwash Systems through the Lombardos, and you came down and went to discover Softwash and started your soft washing journey. Again, refresh my mind. I know you said at the beginning of the podcast, how many years have you been doing this now?
We started in 2022. So we bought the equipment. We got the truck running like April 2022. We did our first job in April. And then I think Discover Softwash was in like June or something like that, July, like a few months after. So we did a job, and we pretty much landed 2 jobs in April, and then couldn't land another job for like a few months, knocking doors and trying to figure out how to do it. And then we went to Discover Soft. So yeah, it's been just over our second year. So we're almost halfway through our third year right now. So 2.5 years.
And so it's been growing each year for you guys. I mean, do you guys mind sharing any numbers or anything? What was your first year? How did you do your first year?
Talk about it, babe.
We were just looking at it right now. So we did from April to April, we did $57,000. So from April, that was 2022 to 2023. And then from 2023 to 2024, which April this year, we did 375.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a bunch of I have no idea what we're saying. But it's been a grind.
God's been helping us.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely don't have it figured out yet. We still got a lot of growth. And so we're always constantly learning, like was literally calling people up, like, hey, what are you guys doing? How can we fix this? And I feel like it is just consistency of the little stuff, like stuff, the simple stuff that you overthink is like, oh, got to be more than that. It's like, it's not more than that. It's just that consistently. And it builds up and adds. So we're trying to grow. I think we're on track to at least double this year, this coming April. So we should be on track to do that at least.
What are we at so far this year?
From April to now, we did 275. So
wow. So you're doing really good. So calendar year, if you went from January of 2024 to where you're currently at now, do you know what that number is?
Yeah, we are looking at 370, I believe. Yeah, 370. We're fixing it. We're gonna do about 500 with one truck this year.
Wow.
We have a crew. The crew's out right now doing it, and then I've been doing all the sales and all that stuff. But we're gonna see if we can add another truck and figure out the bottlenecks. So pretty much the marketing, generating leads, and closing the jobs, and then add the truck. So it's just always learning those. Like we still got a lot. I don't feel good. I don't feel necessarily great about it, if that makes sense. Like the margins are all whack I feel like when we're trying to figure it out. So well,
that's the thing. It's one thing to produce revenues. It's another thing to really tune and hone the machine and and get that profit and everything out of it.
Is a wild train. It's just going right now. So gotta dial it in for sure.
So you mentioned you have some crews out doing the work for you guys. Tell me about the structure, because we are talking about building a lifestyle business. It's not you and Chantal out anymore cleaning roofs together. So tell me about the structure of your company, team members you put on, and what your life looks like now.
So, well, I wake up in the morning. I go roll the guys out. We just everything's all in the CRM. They have an iPad on the truck, and they're able to see pretty much what the job is, and we meet up at the truck and just roll out from there. We have two guys. We have a lead technician that's been with us since April. So kind of been up and down with bringing guys on and trying to get this first one going.
Yeah.
Like, literally a year ago, we were at the same spot we are today with the truck, but the crew wasn't really trained. And I think I tried to put guys on the truck too quick. So I ended up letting guys go, getting rid of guys, and then I brought this one guy on, and he's been with me since April. And I was personally on the truck with them, showing him everything. And now he's better than me. He can soft wash better than me. He corrects me when I do something wrong. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, awesome. You do it. You do it way better than me. Yeah. So I got him an assistant, and the assistant, super smart. He's like a type C, detail oriented. He actually, so he's been on for like a month now, less than a month.
Yeah.
But he just sold literally a $3,000 job yesterday, talking to neighbors. So like he knows he's learning the product, learning the processes,
and this is kind of cool. I just want a sentimental little note here.
Yeah.
So this guy, the assistant technician that Bob was talking about, he's a very close family friend of ours. Their family goes to our church. And his dad passed away a couple years ago. His dad was a great man, like a prince of a man, a whole legend, awesome man. And before his dad passed away, his dad had told us like, hey, take care of my family. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got 2 sons and a daughter. And I vividly remember him saying like, look out for my family, look out for my kids, you guys, look out for them. And now it's like so cool to be able to have this boy, his name is Sam, around and like teach him the ropes and teach him something that he could use to grow his own life, and be successful, and really like teach him how to fish basically.
Yeah.
And watch him grow, develop skills, and just become like, he's going to do awesome. He's destined for it. But that's really, really cool.
So,
a lot of people are afraid to hire friends and family. And I'm not. I mean, they're like, but you could get screwed. They could disappoint you. I'm like, that's all people. I mean, that's so what, we disappoint Jesus every day. I mean, I'm numbnut. I do stupid stuff, but we all do stupid stuff. And you're right. Being able to bless other people with jobs and take care of other people is a lot of the reason why we do this. At least a lot of the people at Softwash Systems. So I think we attract a certain type of person to this organization, and we all of us, even the ones that aren't Christians in our organization, almost see their businesses like missions, and it's ministry, and it's just it's what we do,
Yeah, I think it's super satisfying for me. The guy that we've had pretty much all year. He has a wife, he has a kid, and they're actually from Brazil. His wife is a scientist, works at the college, but it's inspiring for me. That's a big move to move different countries, kind of learning the language still and doing all this stuff. And he's super detail oriented, like the best worker I've had, like from since owning the company. So inspiring for me. I'm like, dude, I want to be able to help people that want to keep on growing and keep on going, because I want to keep on going. I want to keep on learning and be able to help support, like give him work and teach him a skill and help him pay his bills. It's like provide for his family. It's a blessing for me to be able to do that, to see it. Mm-hmm. So if we're able to make a company they want to stay in, have a career in, and like be part of, that's a new thing. I feel like for us.
Yeah.
Or before, like figuring out hiring people. It's really the quality of person. Yeah. Like it will work. It's just like if the person really wants to work and like it works, it's great. So it's
if you don't put the right person in the system's not going to work.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's been, it's been a call. We've been doing it. I've lived 10 years in the last 2.5 years. Like it's been like a college degree on steroids.
Oh, but, yeah. So Bob, I guess you're out selling. You got 2 guys out in the truck, and then Chantal, what are you doing in the organization now?
So I was full-time answering phones and kind of doing admin stuff. Now with the little guy being more mobile, that's a little bit more limited. Yeah. So it's really helping out with marketing stuff. We're going to get a marketing program going just to kind of build connections and relationships in the community, other businesses.
Yeah. We're bringing my sister on as like a salesperson to like from B2B connect. So she's going to start building relationships with like other businesses. So she's recently gone on and she's actually doing the visits and calling and emails and trying to get on vendors lists and stuff like that. Kind of taking over what Chantal was doing. Mm-hmm. Chantal's trying to phase out. So she's trying to go full-time mom, which is great. But she does add like
it's awesome.
It's an accomplishment for us. It's like, wow, man, this is an opportunity. Like where years ago, this would not even be an option.
Well, and that's the goal. I mean, you're building a lifestyle business, and part of your lifestyle is you want to be mom, and you want to be that homemaker mom. Go into that role that used to be called the traditional role, but now it's the non-traditional role. But there's still some people out there that want to be mom and want to have that, and having this business and the income it's producing and all gives you the blessing to be able to do that.
Oh, 100%. That's always been like my passion. I always knew, even working at the dental office, I would tell my boss, doctor, eventually I'm going to get married. I want to have a family and I want to be able to take care of my kids. That's right. Like that's my heart. That's what I want. I want to be able to raise my family. And so for this, to be able to do that and then still be able to have some involvement with the business, because like the businesses, I'm fully invested in that. Of course, we built it from the ground up with our blood, sweat, and tears together.
Yeah.
Right.
From the days working on the truck together. And
that was only a few months ago. That's crazy.
Not too long ago. But so now, to have something in place where I can take care of my son and be a mom and still get the satisfaction of being able to talk to customers. I love that kind of connection.
Yeah.
And, continue to grow things is awesome.
What's crazy, and I'll ask you guys this because this hasn't just dawned on me, but I think this is a good opportunity for me to ask you guys this question. I look at you guys, I look at the Lombardos, I look at Kelly King, I look at Landon Digman. I look at the West Coast, the companies that we have on the West Coast, and there's several others, but especially those 4 companies I just mentioned are doing far better numbers, revenues, kind of goals, and everything else than even some other parts of the country. And when you look at California, Washington, and Oregon, they're some of the most governmental, oppressive, and really, anti-business areas of our country. And you guys are doing well. Why do you think that is?
Great question.
No,
yeah. I know a lot of it is the help of God. I know there's been stuff that opens up for us that's just kind of like, oh my goodness, that was 100% God, because that wasn't us, And 2, I know for us, like the cost of living in San Diego is so insane. You kind of have no choice but to go like full speed ahead. If you're going to make it, you're not going to make it by accident. You have to be intentional and like fully invest in every way to be successful. And so I think that kind of removes any other possibility. Like there's no other options. You're either doing it all the way and as hard as you can, as fast as you can, or you're probably not going to be doing it for long.
Or you're not going to survive. Yeah.
I think this the cost of living is way higher than anywhere else in the nation. Like our average ticket is probably higher than anywhere else in the nation. It's just because of cost of living. It's not. Yeah, I think we have to charge more because it costs more to live here. So
and to do business here.
So everything's way more expensive. Yeah. So it's So I think we're on pace with it's just different numbers. Like our business structure is probably on pace with a lot of other software systems companies. It's different numbers. It's like you have to do different numbers. Just charge more. At the same time, it costs more. So I don't know.
That sounds great.
It should be easier to make $1 million here than anywhere else, right? Like,
well, you would think, and $1 million today isn't what it was 20, 25, 30 years ago, but still that $1 million seems elusive for so many people. It's just crazy. So what do you think the future holds for you guys? I mean, you're growing, your family's growing, life seems to be going good. You got fresh new shirts. I mean, where are we going? What's the vision? What's the dream now?
That's funny. That's what I constantly think about. Like she's good at implementing and doing everything. I'm just good at thinking about the future. That's all I'm good at.
You're the CVO. Have you read the book Traction yet?
No, not yet. I gotta look that up.
You got to read the book Traction, Gino Wickman, and talks about the CVO. You got the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Well, he comes in and says there's a CVO, and I'm like, CVO? What's a CVO? Chief Vision Officer. And that's what I am. I can see the playing field. I can see the vision. I know where I want to go, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's I mean, for sure. For us, I think we're 2.5 years into it. There's still a lot of learning to do. There's a lot of business out there. It's really perfecting how to acquire the business. Is figuring out how to do it at a reasonable cost and then perform the work at the reasonable cost and get that all dialed in. So obviously we have one truck going. We just got a salesperson. So we still got a long way to perfect. But once we get a perfected model, I think that's the goal for next year, is to obviously double. We do have room on the truck, on the schedule to do more
capacity
on the truck. So we're going to try to max out the capacity on the truck. The 2 guys are great. We're going to try to expand, get another truck going. But who knows? There's definitely still a lot of implementation and learning we got to do as far as like generating the demand for the trucks. I think that's where we bottleneck at. Like obviously the guys are great. The customers are happy. But I think the new steps that we are taking as far as like B2B commercial stuff that we haven't been pursuing, I think that's the next step. And then it's just duplicating that. So pretty much developing systems as we go, documenting everything. This is how we do it. I think that's where we're at. So who knows? 10 years? I don't know. We're just I take it. I literally live like 1 week at a time. We got a goal. If we hit the goal this week, we can do it next week.
You have long-term goals though.
Yeah. I mean, like I live one day at a time. And
right.
Like, this week is the one time.
Your vision is out further, but your execution is one day at a time.
Yeah. And so like, the vision's, I guess, long-term, I guess multiple trucks. It is expensive, I guess, like owning properties and stuff like that. So yeah, multiple branches, I guess, operating on small branches. I think that is like on model. I think that's probably the best way for sure, just because the price of real estate in San Diego is like insane.
Right.
So, and then probably moving it sounds crazy, but I don't know if we go east to Arizona or go up north as it's in California. California's kind of, like you said, it's kind of hard to be in business for sure. But
also too, you got to figure out when is enough, and what are you building the engine for to support your lifestyle, and how big do you have to have it? But but what you just said about the real estate and everything else, eventually this business does become a real estate model, because once you get 2 or 3 branches out there and they're turning off an executive income and you don't have to work in it every day, you plant those 2 or 3 branches in a facility that you own. You put a 15-20 year mortgage on those. You let the business pay those down. And then those pieces of property, especially in California, when it's all said and done one day, that becomes your retirement. And so,
it makes sense to not own the building. I think, you become a real estate owner.
Real estate model. Yeah. Yep. Well, very cool.
Yeah. But who knows? Who knows what the next 10 years hold? I guess for us, we're just going to be grinding for the next 10 years. So, at least.
Well, you're still young. So,
exactly.
You can say, well, okay, we'll retire when we're 40, Yeah. So the big question I have is, are we going to come up with a little baby girl with awesome hair?
You know what? I'm trying. She said, I'm trying.
I don't know if there's any red hair genes anywhere in your family, but I know you Chantal, you got your hair up in a ponytail and everything else. I mean, if people could see your hair, Chantal has got incredible hair, and get a little baby girl with that blonde hair and everything else. You got the dark haired one, you get the blonde haired one. It'd be like a little matchbook set, yes, little mini me's. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do
it. AC, thank you so much for taking the time with us and letting us be a part of this. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really fun. Well, guys, thank you for trusting us and helping us let you get in, help you get into the business and all that. It's really cool to see you guys prosper and thrive and everything. And hey, guys, if you listen to this podcast here and you're interested in possibly getting into soft washing, certainly you can reach out to Softwash Systems. Or really, if you're in any kind of business at all, there's a lot of ways that we can help you. But the number one way that we can help you is to go ahead and hit the like button down here, hit the subscribe button, and go ahead and possibly share this podcast to other people. And that will help other people out as well. But Bob, Chantal, thank you so much for being on today. And remember, San Diego, keep it classy. This is Ron. Go forth and prosper. Good night. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. And we'll see you guys at the next podcast.